Hello class and welcome to COMM 1307 online version. Sorry I didn't get this up and running a little bit earlier. It should have already been ready, but technology and life basically. My name is Alexina Hosa. I am your instructor for this course. I'm going to be using a little bit of things like online things here to get you started. I'm going to add you to the team too. So if you got an invite from Microsoft Teams, don't ignore it. You need to join it and accept the invitation. It's going to be on your EPCC email. So check your EPCC email for sure. You need to join the teams, one, so you can see the recordings, and two, so you can also participate in quote-unquote online class discussions. These online class discussions are for me to grade your participation in the course and for me to know whether or not you actually watched the video. I'm going to try to keep the videos to 20 minutes. What I'm going to do is in some videos I will emphasize some slides in the lectures, and in others I will show you some additional explanations for things that I think you might need to do. I'm not quite sure if you all would want to meet or have the option of meeting face to face, but if you do, that'll be part of the assignments. I'll be asking you all what would be a good day time in case you want to have the option to meet. Okay. This is the first week of classes, so I'm just going to get started with a few things here. What you will see is I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to go over to Blackboard to our course. So let me go over to the Chrome tab here. Let's get started with that. So you are in my online course, and the way it's going to start is when you log in, you're going to go to weekly course guide. Here you'll have like the welcome where you see here, and then of course you have the syllabus and some materials. Okay, you're going to want to get started with Unit 1. The way this works is it's sequential. So in other words, you cannot move on to the next assignment without producing the first or finishing the first. In this case, it just wants you to complete the lecture and look through it before moving on to Chapter 2. Okay, I'm going to click on that. This is a PowerPoint. Okay, you're going to see the video pop up right here underneath here once this is done recording, and you'll need to complete the assignments in the video and for the video before moving on to the next thing. That's kind of how it starts. Okay. Let me go back over here. If you want to turn in an assignment, the way this works is that there's journal observations. Okay, so your final is an average score of your journal observations. So I'm going to click on the journal observation here. And actually, what I need to do to fix this, let me go back over here. Sorry, folks. Boop, is journal 1 should be here at the top. So before you get started into Chapter 1, I'm going to ask you all to take a look at this and then answer these questions. Journal observations are educated responses. They're 2 pages, double-spaced, 12-point font, Times New Roman or Calibri or Arial is fine. Anything that's basically readable. And answer these questions in an essay format. Okay, in a 2-page essay format, answer these questions. There's a total of, I think, 7 or 8 journal observations throughout the semester. And like I said, you have to do well on each of them, get good grades on them, and then the average score will be your final. Well, that will be your final. There's no test, there's no research paper. This is your final, the journal observation. Now, if you've never done a journal observations or turned in anything on Blackboard before, you click on it. And then the way you want to do it is you can either do one of 2 things. You can click on Write Submission and respond here, but then it's hard for me to tell if it's 2 pages. So the best thing that you want to do is you want to answer these questions in a Microsoft Word document, save it on your computer for your records, and then upload it by browsing your computer, select the assignment, and then go ahead and submit it from there. Okay. If you have Pages is fine. I know some of you have Macs. I have a Mac, so I'll be able to look at your work, but I also have Microsoft Word, so that'll work also. All right. If you decide to upload a PDF, that works too. I have all the tools here. So that is how you submit the assignments. As you can see, this one is due Sunday at 4:40 p.m. If you turn it in Monday at the end of the day to me in Blackboard terms means 11:59 p.m. If you turn it in by the end of the day, that's fine too. Okay. I give a 2-day waiver on late work. So you have 2 days after the due date to turn it in. If it's Wednesday, then that's when I start deducting points because by Wednesday I start grading. Okay. Now let me go into one of the quizzes so you can see what it looks like I need to add a quiz here. Sorry, guys. This is what happens when you're having issues with Blackboard. ¿Dónde está quizzes? Okay, let's go to week 3 here. Well, I'll have to add quizzes, but there are a total of 4 quizzes throughout the semester that you will be able to take quizzes. You'll be able to do. I do want to go back over here when I saw the midterm. So this is the midterm. It's going to be a test. It's going to be a cumulative test, and there's a review session for it. Okay, so you guys can see it. We'll go over it, and I'll go over it during this this chunk, this week 5 through week 8 chunk. Every week I'll go over it that way, in case you guys have any questions. And this is where I would open up a review session, a live review session for you all to join in case you guys have questions on the midterm. Okay. I go over here to this. Respond is lockdown browser. So your midterm is going to be up the week of October 12th. And you're going to have to download the Respond is lockdown browser in order to take the quiz. It works on iPads. It doesn't work with Chromebooks, which is kind of weird, but it works with everything else. The only way you'll be able to take the test is if you download the Respond is lockdown browser, because the test will be in that browser, and download it onto your desktop, and then from there you'll be able to take the test. When you open this browser, it shuts down everything else. It'll shut down all, you have to basically have all tabs closed, all other browsers closed, all other applications closed. If you do not have the applications closed, then it will not open. And if you happen to start taking the test and you decide, I'm going to go Google this, see what it means, Respond is going to shut down on you, and it will submit the test. And then it will give you the grade that you received. So it's pretty strict, and this is to prevent cheating. So when you're taking the test, do not have strong internet, and do not try to open any tabs or anything else. Okay? Quizzes will be uploaded soon. I don't know why the quizzes aren't here. I want to also go to the discussion. So let me go over to the discussion area. So, sorry. So if you've never done this before, I guess it's on your 2. So there's some videos that I sometimes put up there. So Teenage Rebellion is one of them. Whenever you see one of these like little things, it's called the discussion forum. Now, when you first start it, when you click on it, there's nothing there because Blackboard is amazing. Sarcastic remark here. So here's what you do. You got to go to create thread, and then you can see the freaking post. That's just how it works. I don't like it. I'm sure you don't like it. But hey, it's what we're working with. So again, let me go back so you can see that again. Okay. Let's say that there is, oh my goodness. See, this is what I hate. I work for the college. Okay. So let's say I'm a student and I look into week 6 and I, finish reading this, finish watching this, finish watching this. Now my assignment is to do a discussion. You will get graded for this. Okay. Read this thoroughly. If you need to, copy and paste it onto a Microsoft Word document or onto a text edit. Click on it, and then you'll see nothing there. So then you got to click on Create Thread. Sometimes you will see something there if somebody has already responded. Okay. Then from there, you can give it a subject title, and then you can respond to the prompt. Now, when you're responding to the prompt, it's aside from just answering it, I also want you to respond to another classmate, maybe someone that hasn't had a response yet. So you'll get 50% of the grade on your discussions will be based on your answer, and then the other 50% of the grade will be based on whether or not you responded to somebody else. So that's how I grade them. There's nothing there right now, obviously, because nobody's done it yet, and we haven't gotten to that point. But once we get to that point, we will. Now, you're seeing this as an instructor view, which means you can see everything. I'm going to put it in student view so you can see how it looks in your view. Okay. So you can kind of see everything, but I cannot go or actually you can't go into the other folders until you finish week 1 and chapter 1, okay, and so on and so forth. So you will not be able to progress or skip ahead. You have to go in order because it will not let you go any other way. Okay, I'm going to exit preview and I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go over to the syllabus. I'm going to stop sharing. And I'm going to go ahead and go into the files for okay. So this is from another class, but it's basically the same thing except for, let's see. Here we go. Let me go ahead and stop sharing this one because it's not the one I want to share with you. I want to share. There we go. All right. So this is another online class that I have. No. Fine. Save. Okay. There we go. So this is another online class that I have, folks. It's pretty much the same. It's just a different section. There's a lot of information regarding students with disabilities, attendance. Attendance here is graded on your participation on Teams and the assignments on Teams and how often you log on to Blackboard, because I can actually see that. My recommendation, log on to Blackboard at least twice a week. The first time so that you can see what's due that week, and then the second time to actually do the assignment and just get it out of the way. Drop date for any course is November 13th. And here's some information on the Writing Center. I'll be sending you guys some flyers. You probably got bombarded with them. And then this is how the course grade works. Reading quizzes, which therefore are worth 15% of your grade. Writing assignments that are discussions and any assignments within the course are worth 20%. Your midterm test is worth 20%. Participation, which is you logging in and participating, that's worth 15%. And then your final, which are the cumulative average of your journal observations, is worth 30%. I grade on 100 to on a percentage scale. Okay, I don't do like 1,000 points or anything like that, just the traditional. And this gives you some idea of what I look for in writing assignments, what an A is, what a B is, what a C is, what a D is. Definitely take a look at those, okay? And then this is subject to change. I might add things, I might take away things. It just depends on how the semester goes, okay? Now here's the kicker. So as you know, the week of November 23rd is Thanksgiving, but you guys are in an online class. So what does that mean? That means that on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you are expected to log into Blackboard and do the assignment. Thursday, Friday, go ahead, take a break if you wish, but Saturday, Sunday, things are still due. So you still have to turn in your work. There's no break there. You still have to do the quiz there for chapters 12 and 13. You still have to read the chapter. You are not immune during the break, sorry. Because this is an online course, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. Take a look at that. If you guys get a chance. I'm going to switch over to present. Okay. So because this is an online course, you are expected to log in. You are responsible for keeping up. If you get behind, catch up. You know, it's not going to help you to get behind 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. You will fall behind and likely will not pass the course. So definitely try to stay on top of things. I took an online course this summer. My first online course was 3 years ago, and I failed the class. And this is the instructor telling you this. But this summer, I took an online course, and I was able to, stay on top of things. And the goal, as I learned, if you're a procrastinator like me, the goal, as I learned, is not to procrastinate. It's not to wait till the last minute. It's to force yourself to get on to Blackboard and go on to the course, maybe early on in the week. That way you get it over with. Just, rip it off like a Band-Aid, okay? This is a pretty fun course. I wish we could do it in person because there's a lot more discussions and a lot more fun that way. But other than that, I mean, it's a fun course. You all will learn a lot. So I hope everything works out, you know, but definitely plan ahead. And this is why things are due Sunday at 11:59 p.m. That way you guys have the evening. I don't know what your work schedule is like or what your life is like. So you have a week to plan, to read. My advice to you would be to at least spend 5 to 8 hours on this course alone, because the reading is what's going to get you. Okay. That being said, let's take a look at the textbook. I'm going to try to find the picture of the book here because we need it. I don't want the entire screen. I don't want the window. Okay. Sorry, folks. I'm trying to find the picture that I had a few moments ago. All right, let's take a look. Okay, perfect. So let me move over to the virtual camera here. All right. So what you see there, I'm going to go ahead and zoom it. I thought I could zoom it. Can't I zoom it? Okay. Maybe it just needs a little. There we go. All right. So that is the Media Essentials assignment that, I'm sorry, the textbook. It's the 5th edition. There's the ISBN number. If you need to pause the video to take a screenshot of it, go ahead and do so. You don't need to get the 5th edition if you're trying to save money, which I'm all about. You can also get the 4th or the 3rd. There's no difference, guys. Same material, same information. The only difference between that maybe you might want to get the 5th edition is they have some updated data whenever they refer to stuff and updated pictures, but that's pretty much it. The core base of the information is the exact same. So it's up to you, you know, what you want to get. But that is the latest edition. It price-wise, it's anywhere from $32 to $60. You can get it on Amazon. I have heard some issues happening with delivery to Juarez. So if you live and work in Juarez and that's where you reside, but you're taking the course from over there, I think the best thing for you to do is to get the e-edition one, because it may take a while for you to get the actual textbook. Or if you know somebody that took this class before and they still have their textbook, go ahead and ask them if you can have it. You know, maybe have them drop it off at your house, you know, safe distancing and all that. And then that way you can have the textbook, because everything is going to be based on the textbook in this course. It's not going to be based on anything else. I might add a few things and emphasize a few things, but it's going to be based on the textbook. So, okay. All right, let me zoom out of that real quick. And let me see where we're at this point in time. So that's the textbook. And you saw the syllabus. So that's pretty much where we're at today. I am going to highlight a few things regarding the lecture. So one of the assignments, okay, there will be a Teams. It's going to be a live class discussion, and it has to do with, do you think you use media a lot? Yes or no? So think about that. Do you think you use media a lot? Right, but this is before reading the actual chapter. Just think about it, okay? And it's actually one of the journals. So just think about that for your journal. All right. All right. So I'm going to just touch very lightly on mass communication, okay? What do you guys think it is, all right? And that's going to be one of the assignments. So media, according to your textbook, shapes culture and democracy. I mean, think about where we're at today. Think about the 2016 election. I don't want to get political, but you know what? Sorry, it's going to come in. The 2016 election, and well, every election thereafter that and prior to that, has all been influenced by media in some shape or form through advertisements, grassroots, what you buy, the decisions you make. It's all part of shaping culture and democracy. Okay. Media literacy, which is what we're going to try to attain by the end of the semester, is understanding the media's powerful influence in the world. Okay. At its best, it helps us understand events and trends, classes, education. It breaks down things that are complicated for us. At their worst, it can erode the quality of our lives. Too much, Netflixing or binging could, definitely erode the quality of your health. Because you're sitting on your butt all day, guys. All right. So mass media, what is it? These are the industries that, it's everywhere. They distribute music, songs, novels, papers, books, TV shows, films, magazines. It's a large number of things and products that get distributed to a large number of people. There are 5 eras in media, and this is the evolution. I won't go into the eras. I'll trust you to read the textbook. But what is mass comm? That is a creation and use of symbols to convey information to large and diverse audiences. And you can do it through language, written, pictures, binary, computer codes, Morse codes. That's what mass communication is. You're communicating something to the masses. That's literally what it is. The internet definitely revolutionized this. It made it so much easier, which could be a good thing, and it can also be a dangerous thing based on the information you're trying to spread. There's oral and written. I'm not going to go into that, but definitely look at that. And here's your electronic era. We're going to go into each of these eras as the semester goes. So you all have the PowerPoint. I want you to go ahead and read through it all together. What I want to get to is this, the development stage in media. So think about Shark Tank, guys. This is the easiest way I can explain it. When you have an inventor going and asking the sharks for millions of dollars to invest in their company or product, a lot of the most successful ones don't have the mass media stage, or they don't have an educational stage, which is usually around in between this. Okay. What happens with these individuals that create something is they see that there is what is known as the novelty stage, the development stage. They see that there's a problem that needs to be solved. Okay. In this instance, with mass media, there needed to be a problem that needed to be solved. I'll give this as an example. We had the pandemic, so Zoom comes into the picture, Microsoft Teams comes into the picture, and a whole bunch of third-party platforms come into the picture. They're developed, or they were already developed quickly for other reasons, and now they're having to develop ways to assist us in teaching. Okay. Then you have the entrepreneurial stage, where they find practical marketable use for the device. So this is where commercials come into play. And then the mass media, everybody starts to buy into it, or they start to get the product. Okay. And then the convergence stage. This is where older media, maybe newspaper flyers, ads, all that stuff, merge and reconfigure into new digital media. These are known as partnerships. So I know I'm talking about the midterm as kind of way ahead in advance, but one of the things we're going to go over is this throughout the semester. Your textbook goes over the history of each mass media that we're going to touch on. And so one of the things I will be asking in the midterm is, what is each stage of, say, broadcast? What is the development stages of radio? And you'll have to tell me. Okay. All right. These numbers are a little old. This is from 2018. This is daily electronic use. Okay. Whenever you use your phone, especially if you have an iPhone, it has like how long your screen time was recorded. It actually records where you went, the sites you went to, the applications you use, et cetera, et cetera. You can give yourself a self-report on that, which is kind of creepy. Those reports and how much you click and where you click to actually go back to the companies, which is also creepy. But that being said, Live TV was used 37.5% of the time, and smartphones were used 21%. I mean, look at that. I mean, that's huge. Today, I'm sure this has increased, you know. Radio and tablets, internet computer, time shifted. So this is how much people use things. All right. So in 2017, American media industries, that's your movie industries, your television industries, your radio industries, music, advertising, public relations, they earned more than $700 billion in America in 2017. It's crazy. And over the past 30 years, I mean, it's just grown astronomically. You know, how many of you have like an Alexa, or you're just thinking of something and you turn on your PS4 and boom, there's an ad that pops about what you were thinking about. It's an algorithm, but it's pretty scary. And we'll get into narrow casting later, but that's what it is. So the number of owners who control the media business has definitely shrunk. I want to share something with you really quickly on that. This is kind of, I need to find the file. All right. I want to get the algorithm. There it is. All right. There's an image, and I'm going to share it with you guys. This is an old one. We'll go with the newer one. Okay. I'm going to open image in a new tab. Okay. So I'm going to exit the video conference here, guys, and I'm going to go over back to Teams, and I'm going to share this tab with you. So, all right. So we have an illusion of choice. You know how if you have cable or satellite, folks, you have like a million channels, but there's never anything on. It's kind of like the ongoing dilemma, which is why most people are starting to cancel cable and go toward subscription services like Hulu and stuff. Okay. Well, this is the cable services, and I wouldn't doubt if these services are also going to jump into Hulu, which Comcast has kind of done already. So when television media and news media, newspapers specifically, started initially, and we'll go into each of them throughout the semester, but when they initially started, we had literally like thousands of independently owned companies. This was in the 1950s, okay? And then later they started to buy each other out. And there were some rules that we'll get into later, and legal, things that got pushed that made it impossible to just straight out own everything. However, what you see here is the result of conglomerates buying each other out. So right now, Comcast, I think this is a Wall Street Journal, and I think this was a couple years back in 2018. Comcast owned $41 billion, and they basically own Telemundo, MSNBC, Bravo. They owned Universal Pictures, Universal Parks and Resorts, so NBC owns them, Comcast Cable, and Optimum. So NBC is no longer NBC. I mean, they are by name, but they're owned by a company called Comcast, which is actually a cable company, by the way. Okay, cable and broadband internet. Same thing with Time Warner, guys. Time Warner is a cable company, internet company. They own HBO, CNN, Cartoon Network, TNT, TBS, CW, Warner Brothers Pictures, DC Entertainment. Disney, the big kahuna, which actually trails behind Comcast, owns ABC, ESPN, the Disney Channels, Walt Disney Studios, Pixar, Marvel Studios, Lucasfilm, because he sold out to them, and of course, Walt Disney Parks and Resorts. 21st Century Fox, they own, of course, Fox, Fox News, FX, National Geographic channels, and 20th Century Fox, B Sky B, I don't know what that is. CBS, of course, owns themselves. The CW, so Time Warner and CBS have a joint venture here. Whenever you see joint venture, it probably belongs to somebody else. Showtime and Simon and Schuster. And then you have Viacom. Viacom owns Paramount Studios, BET, Comedy Central, MTV, Nickelodeon. So these 6 companies, guys, own everything that you see or hear or listen to. I wouldn't doubt that these companies are going to go into the podcasting market as well. Okay, I just see it that way. That's what's going to happen. I mean, Disney already has podcasts, right? And HBO and Fox, they already have their own podcasts. I wouldn't doubt it if they start like tapping into other podcasts. So right now, the podcast market is pretty independent and kind of doing its own thing, but they need sponsors. People that do podcasts want money because they don't just do these things for free, and they need sponsorships. So in order to get sponsorships, I mean, I wouldn't doubt it if they agree to some sort of agreement, right, with these companies. So if you guys feel like you're watching the same thing over and over, it's because you are. You're not crazy. You are watching the same thing over and over. It's the illusion of choice, guys. The illusion. Okay. All right, let me go back into the okay, let me go back into the Prezi video over here. All right. I don't want this to be a downer. As you go through the semester. I just burst everyone's bubble. All right. Great way to start the first week. Okay. So one way to understand media, this is where your journals come in, guys, is culture. All right. The symbols of expression that you as individuals or groups and societies use to make sense of daily life and articulate your values. All right. So one way to understand it is just understanding the context. I will share a personal experience regarding culture and just how culture is very different, okay, from one group to the next. Okay, I grew up in a Hispanic household. My family's from, well, we came from Mexico, but actually our origination is Spain. That being said, I grew up with Mexican values and within the culture, that being said, I don't like tamales and I don't like gorditas and I don't like mariachis. But anyway, that aside, one of the values I grew up knowing and learning is if somebody puts a plate of food in front of you, you freaking eat it. Even if I don't like the tamales, man, I still eat it, because if abuelita makes it for me, I better eat it, right? Or I'm gonna get the chancla. So that's what I grew up learning. And if you go to somebody else's house and they feed you, you are grateful for that and you love it and you eat it. If somebody cooks you a meal, you eat it. Like, that's just what you do. It's within the culture. Yeah, something about it, within the culture, And I happen to be a little overweight, folks. I'm not gonna lie. I will say that. And I always get you're so, you need to lose a few pounds, but go fix yourself a plate. Like, what do you want? So anyway, maybe that's why we have diabetes in this culture. Anyway, my mother-in-law is not Mexican. She has some Puerto Rican background, but she wasn't raised Puerto Rican. She was raised Caucasian because her mother's Caucasian, and it's just very different. Okay. My husband is Caucasian, but he was raised here around people of this culture. And so they adapted. And so they know if you go into somebody's home and they feed you, boom, you eat. Like, they just know. Because it's the polite thing to do. And it's very disrespectful if you say no, So my mother-in-law came in from North Carolina and I fixed her a meal, and my husband fixed her a meal. And after 2 hours cooking, the woman did not eat our meal. That was good too. It was steak and eggs and some, papitas. But she didn't eat it. She said instead that she wanted me to go get her Burger King. So my husband had to sit down with her and tell her that's not how you operate around here. I was also going to take her to meet my family, who, by the way, prepared a meal for her specifically I think it was like fried chicken for her and some collard greens and some other stuff that she liked. And yeah, she picked at it. So the family was nice about it because they figured maybe her culture, you know, she's just picky is what it is, and that's what it came down to. And so I had to explain it to her. But there was a clash of culture. So I had to be the liaison, and this is where mass media comes in. If you're mass media folks and you're trying to communicate one message to one culture versus another culture, the message has to be different. And if it's not different, then you have to make tweaks to it in order to make sure everything's groovy and everyone is okay with each other and that everyone still buys your product, even if the message in Japan to buy noodles is very different than the message here in America to buy noodles. So I hope that made sense. And there you go. So one way to make this work is images. That's where a lot of funny commercials come into play. All right, this last thing here, and then I will just ask you to read your textbook so you get more information. This is known as a linear model. This is not how things operate anymore, but this is the traditional model. You have the sender, which is somebody that is developing the message. Then you have the message, and then the message goes to a mass media channel. So gatekeepers, receivers, etc. I will share my EPCC Pulse Facebook page because I'm the advisor on that, and I'll share with you some information. Messages don't always get into the intended receivers. Sometimes advertisers get to us through our phone or through Facebook or whatever. Basically, when advertisers do this, they're just kind of throwing something. They're just shooting something in the dark and hoping it sticks. Maybe it'll get to us or whatever. Receivers don't always interpret messages clearly either. Again, there's this misinterpretation. So that is one way. This is a linear model. Today, in today's world, it's more like sender message, mass media channel, receiver, and then the receivers can respond back and give us feedback. But this is a traditional model. Okay. Well, you're looking at that culture model, which is very much like the example I gave you with my mother-in-law. Let me go ahead and sign into the Facebook page here. That way I can show you an example as to how the linear model may work in a non-traditional world. All right, let me go to, which by the way, I'm just going to do a plug. If you are an EPCC Pulse Radio listener, thanks for listening to us. If not, I'm getting the station up and running, so probably this week I'll be there trying to get it working. Okay, let me exit video conference and let me show you how the linear model might work on Facebook. Okay, so when we post these things on Facebook, on our Facebook page, I'm going to do it as a visitor so you guys can see. We typically send out messages letting everybody know that they have time to register or whatever. If we want to promote something, we'll show it here. Right, so this is our message. We are sent anytime you post something on a Facebook page, that is our message. Okay, and then once you have that message sent out, we can get comments. We can get people sending us messages. So that's where the feedback comes in. But EPCC Pulse Radio, they are the senders. This is the message, the post. And the receiver is to the general public or whoever follows us or whoever likes us. Okay. So our audience is usually EPCC students or people that follow EPCC Pulse Radio. Okay, we have like other people following us and stuff like that. So anytime that happens, those are who our receivers are. Anytime I want to broadcast a page or promote a page, then the message goes out to people who are just kind of out there in the world, and maybe they click on it, maybe they won't. That's how we promote the page. And then of course the feedback is getting, messages sent back to us. So that's how it works. Okay, so I'm going to stop there because I don't want to bore you to death. I see the timer is running at like 40 minutes. So go ahead, check out Blackboard, check out the syllabus, read it carefully. Go get the textbook. That way you can start reading chapter 1. And then what I'll do here is under the assignments here, I'll post a little like prompt, see how you're doing, and then just answer the prompt. So aside from reading the chapter, answer the assignment prompt on Teams. That way you can get that participation grade for this week. And that's pretty much it. That's how we will continue to work. One last thing too, my office hours, take a look at those. They are Mondays and Wednesdays. Okay, let me go ahead and add that on there so you guys can see that. Monday, Wednesday, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. I'm sorry, 5 p.m. I always forget. Okay, so, and we'll do this. Okay, so Mondays and Wednesdays, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Zoom. You don't just need to talk to me about the classes, assignments, or any questions you have about the class. You can go ahead and talk to me about questions you may have about your degree. I have access to your degrees and the number of classes you've already taken, your transcript basically. So if you have questions about any other programs, I may not know the specifics, but I will be able to tell you what classes those programs are requiring you to take. That way you're not taking multiple classes and then in the end they don't transfer anywhere else, or you're not stuck taking a lot of classes and then in the end you wasted all this money and all you needed to take was 2 instead of like 10. So just FYI, reach out to me on Mondays and Wednesdays if you want one of those sessions, or if you just want, if you just have questions about the class or whatever, that's what I'm here for. Career advice, I can offer you that if it's within the realm of journalism, mass communication, PR, broadcast, and advertising. If I don't know where to send you, I will reach out to somebody and hopefully they will advise you, and we'll get you going from there. But anyway, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, shoot me a course message and I will respond to that course message. Otherwise, thank you so much. Have a good week and I'll see you next week.